Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're brand new. Welcome back if you're not. Welcome home if that sits well for you. Honestly, today everybody gets a welcome home because I have been gone for so long. Let's not talk about the fact that I had to buy a new laptop to be here, but instead let's focus on the blessing that I got to buy a new laptop to be here. How about that? We're going to do a next 10 days reading, guys. Pile number 1 is the moon pile. Pile number 2 is the heart pile. Pile number 3 is the star pile. Now here's the deal. Like always, if you immediately feel drawn to one of these, please feel free to click the timestamp if that's what you want to do. If not, what we will be doing is choosing our oracle piles together. Sometimes we get good messages in there for the collective. Sometimes we don't get messages, but at any point, we always have a good time doing that. And if you'd like to hang out, that is absolutely fine. If not, I totally get it. So here is your option. If you're already there, click 1, 2, or 3, doesn't matter to me. And if you'll be here for the oracles, I will see you then. All right, guys. Did you miss me? I missed you guys. It's been a while, right? Yeah, it's been a little crazy. I hope everyone is well, and I hope that the time between was happy, healthy, and productive in whatever way you want that to be. Again, we're talking about what's coming in for you the next 10 days. Always timeless, so don't feel compelled to put too much on it. If the messages, hey, are your messages, then you will know it and you will grab those messages. Again, we're always talking about resonance and relevance, right? So here's our message for the collective right now. Let go and enjoy. I could not agree more. Let go and enjoy, right? Resist the urge to feel compelled to steer this journey. The bottom line is, if you know how you want to feel, that how is going to melt away in the getting there, right? Which is true. Absolutely true. Let go and enjoy. Yeah, I'm going to resist talking about the astrology because this is a timeless reading. So we're just going to say, get as creative as possible in your enjoyment, right? Pleasure is always important. In fact, most of the time, it's the most important thing, right? Our gauge of where we fall on that spectrum of pleasure is usually the reason that we're either having a grand time or having an exciting lesson. So no matter what, may all of your lessons be exciting. I would also like to say, please make sure that you're using your intuition as you follow the relevance of all of these messages to you. It will either sit well for you or it won't sit at all. If you have to push it, force it, or reshape it in any way to make it fit, then it's not your message, right? And that is absolutely a-okay. There are plenty of, there are 3 piles here today. And if none of those feel good for you, there are many other pick a card readings on this channel. And if none of those work and you can't find one on a different channel, then perhaps it's just not your day for messaging. Perhaps check your intuition a little more deeply because it might know more than your consciousness. That's real. It happens all the time, right? Yeah, it sure does. So let's see. We're talking about what is coming in for you for the next 10 days. Whenever this finds you. Absolutely. It is the right time. It is the right place. Because there is no other time or place. Just the here, just the now. That's how it works. Not just in Eileen land, but in your land as well. right? Oh, hello. Mars in Gemini, decisions. Okay, so Mars in Gemini, let's talk about that. Mars in Gemini is about how you put your energy into reality, into the 3D, how you move as your choices, your decisions. Gemini is the first of the 3 air signs, and what that means is that Gemini witnesses every possibility and every potential. So when we're talking about decisions, really, we're literally, with Mars and Gemini, talking about how we choose. Wow, that was exciting. How we choose our steps from limitless possibility, from endless potential, right? Gemini is a sign that is blessed to witness every possibility. The key with that great scope of information is that sometimes it gets overwhelming. And sometimes Gemini energy pulls us to second guess ourselves. Okay, you can go there. Because we choose one thing and then we're still witnessing that possibility, right? So a key that I try to talk to my Gemini clients about is, instead of witnessing, here I am, I make this choice, but there's all these other choices in this layer. Instead, really just commit to your choice and then witness what comes next, right? Instead of looking around, looking at your lateral choices, look at your progressive choices, right? You don't want, like if life is, wow, giving you a promotion, you don't want to just look around you at what could be right next to you. Like, if I would have done that, if I would have done that, if I would have done that, if I would have done that. Instead, think, how may I move forward? How may I move forward, instead of coulda, shoulda, woulda in the lateral sense? Does that make sense? I hope so. The other 2 cards that we have gotten here are the Mother and the Empty Room. Now, we're going to finish this messaging before we move on. So we have let go and enjoy. We have Gemini, Mars and Gemini here, right? So this is about really witnessing the freedom of those choices. And then you have the Mother and the Empty Room. So the Mother is really about inception, right? It is that not necessarily let go and enjoy, but it's about be present and enjoy. And then we have the Empty Room, which is a witnessing of this limitless potential, like you see it here, right? It's sitting right there together in these cards. So if you really want to let go and enjoy in the way that it is intended, right? This mothering energy allows you to be safe in your choices, right? If you think about it, this is really all the same. And remember that you're always protected. You're always connected. You can be no other than your own choice. So if you can really witness how you wish to let go and enjoy, right, in this moment, and realize you have every possibility and every one of them is safe for you to explore in the now, right? What a beautiful message for the collective, right? To trust that your space is always held, no matter which way you choose to create it, or choose to fill it, or choose to give it extension. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Right, from every angle. Right, from every angle, from every sense of expression too, right? If we talk about Gemini as that mercurial energy. So this is about how we're going to express, and really feeling safe to express within the limitlessness of the parameter of this tabula rasa, right? How? Any and everything is yours, right? I love it. I love it. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get busy. We're going to move on to our piles now. So here's, I'm going to move these out of our field here so that you can focus on the piles here. So let's go ahead and look at these, right? So you have one, which is this moon pile. 2, which is this heart pile, and 3, which is this star pile. You may choose 1, 2, or all. Doesn't matter to me. We're talking about the next 10 days. If you want to listen to the whole thing, brilliant. I will be here the whole time. That's a promise. And if you wish to choose one, please allow your intuition full reign to do such. I'm going to give you a few seconds here, and I'll see you. All right, my pile ones, my moon folks. How about that? Okay, let's get right in. Shall we? Shall we? Certainly we shall. I'm going to go from the bottom. How about that? Let's start with, all right, reflect on your truth. So if you didn't listen to the collective messaging, what we got there was messages that talked about really embracing your potential, like your big giant potential, right? So as we're talking about reflect on your truth here, this is about relaxing and witnessing that the hardest part of whatever it is has passed for you, and doing a little bit of soul searching, right, is what you're asked to do. Reflect, right? That's the key word here. Reflect and figure out what those lessons might be. And let's see, endless possibilities. Okay, so in that collective message, we had Mars and Gemini talking about exactly this. Endless possibilities, right? So we're talking about, again, unlimited potential. We're talking about where your limiting beliefs are, what it is that you believe that is creating any kind of blockage or obstacle for you, and really recognizing as you reflect on those where the thing that was in your way might have been you, right? Might have been you. You come on. Well, pile number 1, if you didn't listen to the oracle pull, I'm going to suggest that you just rewind and go do that. So you get Gemini here. Gemini talking about exactly this, endless possibilities. Gemini talking about that speed of processing, right? The way that we glean the truth, or what we believe is the truth, right? What we believe is the truth, and then putting it into expression, really finding logic and the intellectual point of view. The key here always being that there's a difference between being smart and being wise, right? The reflection is the key here, the witnessing the endless possibilities. And what does that mean? What does endless possibilities mean in terms of time and your timeline, right? Always a good question. You have the Sun in Capricorn, which is achievement. Nice. So this actually brings this kind of down to earth, no pun intended. Sun in Capricorn is about slow and steady progress, right? It's about being able to be pragmatic, be practical, be predictable, right? Which Gemini energy isn't always predictable. So in the reflection, you become grounded, right? You become that good example. You become capable of creating yourself, of choosing a possibility and bringing it into expression. And then you have the Bardo. Okay, so this is the space between, right? The Bardo is that liminal space, that space of event horizon, right? Where we are witnessing the potential as simply part of our perspective or part of our point of view. It's the way we choose to be part of the space, or whether we choose to be part of the disassociation, the dislocation. The key here is in that messaging that we talked about in our collective message. We also talked about the empty room. We had the empty room card, which really talks about how you can either feel confined by the lack of structure, or you can really feel into the way that space allows you to be in open creation, the way that you, for lack of a better word, square up to infinity, right? Is really how you're choosing your experience in the moment. It's really the way that you're choosing your expression based on the way that you witness the possibility or the utility of your expression, right? If it's not going to be able to be utilized to its fullest potential, then do you see the good in it? Will you put your energy toward it? And how can you reflect on that at this time, right? At this time. How will you choose to be in witness to that in these next 10 days? Well, I mean, that's up to you. Let's see what Tarot wants to say. Okay, Three of Cups. So that's lovely. That's about what you're choosing to celebrate, right? Three of Cups is a choice, right? It's not just what you're celebrating, but how and with whom. If you're looking at that Magician card, then perhaps you're celebrating an achievement, right? Perhaps you've chosen something in a different way, or that you've been able to release something that was weighing you down, and that definitely is cause to celebrate. Six of Pentacles, right? So there might be some kind of reciprocal magic that's going on, something that you were taught, right? Some example that was shown to you, or a teaching or a wisdom that came in that you didn't expect, but that showed up for you and helped you look at the way you are able, right? Let's call it able, to put something down. And sometimes we have to have that modeled behavior. And sometimes the way that we celebrate in that group is, right, that modeled behavior. And it might have been something that was bringing you a lot of trouble. And it was simply a thing that you didn't realize you could put down. But boy, once you did, or once you do, or once you have, oh, see, we talked right about that. It will bring you such lesson and such capacity to shine, and also to a new place in your journey, right? We literally spoke about this, how there's a difference between experience and knowledge, right? Knowledge is one thing. Putting it into action is wisdom, right? Putting it into action, choosing what you're putting down that no longer will be able to have this hold on you, these limiting beliefs. Swords are always beliefs, and Nine of Swords is the thing that is giving you anxiety, or asking you, offering you a way to be outside of your own peace, right? This is what keeps you awake at night. And here's the deal. Putting that down definitely is reason to celebrate. Definitely is reason to celebrate. So you may have recently learned that you have the capacity, right, to in fact release what it is that you're looking for. You may have, again, had some help here. I get the feeling that you may not have known that the beliefs you were walking with were limiting beliefs, my pile one. And I think that, yeah, so this is a skill. that maybe you had to wait for. Maybe you knew it was there and you just didn't know how to make it work. But boy, oh boy, once you got it, you got it, right? Look at how beautiful that is. Page of Wands. Yeah, so so my pile number ones, let's talk a little bit more here. All right, so so the fact of the matter is that your recent past has had some, I don't want to call it drama, but stuckness, a quality of stuckness, right? And the way that you wanted to get past it felt like you were blocked, 100%, right? Like you could see your way around it, but you couldn't see your way through it. Does that make sense? You could see that there was a different way to be, but you didn't understand how to get yourself there. I think you felt very mired in the anxiety of whatever it was, right? The anchor was heavy, and you felt kind of like you were stuck in the rut, right? No matter how you rocked, no matter how you tried, no matter how much gas you gave it, you just couldn't get out. And I think that, well, here, let me put it this way. If that's you right now, in the next 10 days, what's about to happen, or what has just happened for you, is that someone has come into your field and they have shown you something, and it might have been something completely and totally unrelated to what actually was going on in your life. But the fact of the matter is, you were able to take that example and put it into action, no matter whether it was actually the thing that they did, it was the perspective on the thing that they did, right? That allowed you to move in a different way. And I think, again, that this might be something that you watched it from afar for a really long time, and then all of a sudden you went, wait a minute, I think that if I did this, then I could get this. If I gave up this, then I would feel like this. If I chose to put this down, then I could move forward in this brand new way. And boy, doesn't that feel better, right? And so however you put that into action, it has allowed you, or will allow you, to move forward in a kind of, in a brand new way that feels so much more inspired, feels so much more inspiring, feels so much more aligned with what is in your highest, what is in your best. You know, I don't even know. Okay, all right, on the Fool, we're going to grab a clarifier on the Fool card, because, you know, that's, oh, well, my pile number ones. So here's what I want to say. Whatever it is that you're moving toward, it's going to be hot, right? It might come in hot. This revelation might come in like a spark in the middle of darkness. It all of a sudden might be like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that, right? So pay attention to the completeness of the arc of your consciousness, right? Also, line up what's in your unconsciousness, because you might find some kindling there, right? So pay attention, because what it brings in with it is a brand new level of engagement, a brand new level of, yes, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. This is where I want to go. This is how I want to get there. All of those things, whatever is happening for you, pile number one, this next 10 days is going to be amazing. So pay attention, because it might just be one little spark, right? But by the end of this cycle for you, you have the capacity, right, to have a bonfire. Very healing, very curative in terms of what has been, right, and what could be. So, And the thing is here, you're going to be able to put this into action. You're going to be able to root so deeply with this because you're going to remember that you're going to have to reflect on this, right? It has to be aligned, but it also has to be put into action. It can't just be kept as an idea, as a thought form. It has to be moving, right? You'll have to actually do the work to release the thing that's been holding you anchored. You'll have to release it. And in releasing, boy, is it worth it. So pay attention and don't be afraid to let go, right? Don't be afraid to let go, my pile number ones. I wish you nothing but the best. I think this is going to be an amazing cycle for you. So hit like, hit subscribe, come back, let me know how it goes. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Big blessings. Hey, my pile number twos, my heart people. I like it. All right, let's see what's coming up for you in the next 10 days, shall we? It's not the, there we go. Refine your attention. Okay, so refining your attention is about the way that you move forward after an awareness, right? So it's the way that you are able to shift and like fine focus your experience. So to refine your attention is to learn to pay attention in a different way, right? So this is minding in a different way, right? In thought, in word, in deed, really choosing your highest and best as your guidance, which sometimes is hard, but it's the necessary step after a wider sense of awareness. Okay. You have a burst of magic. Now, this is interesting. This goes right along with this. This is like that epiphany moment. This is when you are shown something on purpose, right? And asks you to really source your information. So when you see something in a burst of magic, right, out of the blue, it's really important to do that source check. That's what I call it in my in Eileen land. We talk about a source check. So I'm always and constantly checking my information, the things that come to me, the awarenesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to know where that's coming from. And I want to make sure that I'm really aligning it with my own personal highest and best. Is this aligned with my source, right? So these cards go hand in hand, and I really, really like that. Ooh, okay, so you get sextile. So a sextile in astrology is about a blessing, right? It's a chance, it's an opportunity. It is an opportunity that presents, right? So something maybe out of the blue, and what you're going to be asked to do is this working for me? Is this mine? Is this the path that's being illuminated for me? All good questions. Then you have you have Mars in Aries. Now, Mars in Aries, of course, so Aries is the first sign, right? This is the inception energy. So Mars in Aries is about action. It's about taking action, how you're going to process this information, how you're going to choose to grab a hold of this new opportunity or not, based on the way that it is aligned with you, right? Part of the danger of Mars in Aries is that we do something without stopping even for a moment of hesitation to consider, not consider the consequences, but to consider, is this for me, right? Is this good for me, right? We think, oh, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Oh, that looks great. Pow. Oh, it's wonderful. Let me do that. But then we have to really mind ourselves, refine our attention to choose to stop and make sure, does this belong to me? Is this for me? Is this in alignment with my goals, with my values, with my beliefs, with my moral code, with my plans for the future, with my intentions, with my desires, right? Because in the moment, sometimes we can lose sight of that, especially if it's a great looking opportunity. And then finally, finally you have the storm. Now, this is an interesting one, right? The storm is about energy of undoing. So this is like that Shiva consciousness energy that comes in to clear the path. So see, so here's the deal. You have a burst of magic, you have impulsiveness, and the storm. Oh, and see what I'm looking at right here? Just underneath the Ten of Swords. We're not going to keep it. But as we're talking about this energy, we want to just, since it came here, we just want to pay attention. That the next 10 days for you, my pile number 2s, might come with an element of destruction in terms of something that needs to be recognized or acknowledged as not for you, right? So it might include, let's call it an opportunity that you really have to stop and say, whoa, wait a minute. I've done something similar in the past and it didn't go well. So I'm going to use this history to choose differently in the now, right? Even if the opportunity looks amazing, make sure that you are taking the time to decide whether this is a for you thing on that level of highest and best, not just in that moment of, woo, yeah, great, sounds fabulous. No, stop, breathe, and think, right? This is wisdom from Blue's Clues, by the way. Stop, breathe, and think. We're not looking to act impulsively. We're looking to act in cohesion, in concert with, in resonance with what it is that is in our highest and best, right? You know what your values are. Or if you don't, perhaps the question is, if I get in line with my values, might I avoid something crazy? And of course, you get the Hierophant right there at the top, which says, do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Right? The Hierophant can be about a higher level teaching, but it is always reminding you that you are the key to your every action. This is the unexamined life is not worth living card. So making sure that before you say, let's go to whatever it is that is inviting you to go, even if it looks like a burst of magic, to make sure that you are making the choice, right? 3 of Wands. So this is a long-term thing. And see, you have this triple here too. So let's pay attention to that. So if 3 is important to you, let's pay attention to that as well. So you have okay, so the 3 of Wands is looking at your long-term goals, your long-term consequences, your long-term choices, which goes perfectly with what we're talking about here. The moon showing you something that is perhaps quite not yet fully revealed. Okay, so in that way, you're going to want to stop again, look around, do a little more research, right? The moon calls us with emotional choices, but there's always something not yet disclosed. The Knight of Pentacles, beautiful. The Knight of Pentacles here, the slowest knight in the deck, often plodding, often seen as right, slow but steady progress. But the Knight of Pentacles is a perfect counter to this Mars and Aries, right? The Knight of Pentacles says, if we're going to go, we're going to need to understand why, right? This is not a card that's going to shoot off in a crazy direction with a burst of lightning. Absolutely not. The Knight of Pentacles is going to temper you, slow you down so that you can look at the full range of, let's call it the full range of experience, right? The Knight of Pentacles isn't going to jump just because the opportunity looks good. It's going to say, hold up, hold up, hold up. I'm not so sure that we want to expend our energy in this way, that we want to devote our resources to this, right? This burst of magic, remember asking us, where is this coming from? Have we sourced this fully, right? And we, oh, see, I like it. I like it already. So we have the Five of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, wow, and the Knight of Wands. So listen up, y'all. You have much opportunity to go. How you choose to go is up to you. So you have this double five here, Five of Cups. So, all right, you might be sitting in something that doesn't feel great right now. You might be kind of in a reaction. Okay. Here's what the message is coming through as. Something has created heartbreak, loss, sadness, regret in your experience, right? Now, here's the deal. If that's the case, the question is, what is in your field already that you can use as a counter to that, right? Because you have gifts. You're just not looking at them because you're fixated on this, whatever it is out here. Refine your attention. Refine your attention. Where's the lesson? There is a lesson here. This is Ace of Cups, right? Whatever this was, whatever has created this sense of loss, sense of heartache, sense of sadness within you, there is a lesson, right? Nothing comes to us that does not carry a gift in its hand. Your job is to find out what that gift is. And what you're being advised about in the next 10 days is to not react based on this in your history, right? Just because this happened before doesn't mean it has to happen again. Whatever that may be, whatever this opportunity is, right? The way to manage it is not to jump in with both feet before you say, is this in alignment? Have I done this work? Do I know where I'm going? Are my sails set? My sails, are they set, right? Because the key is, no matter what, if you don't understand that you're steering the ship, no matter how hard you work, you're not going to get where you want to go. And that storm is going to keep blowing you off course so that you gather this lesson, right? It's not you can't look down and navigate forward. You can't look back and navigate forward. In order to navigate forward, you have to be in the present, right? Be fully in the present with your eye to perhaps what it is you're creating in the now that will then bring your future to you, right? And the thing is, if you're looking down, if you're looking back, what happens is that you're not seeing the full picture. So no matter how, no matter, oh, look at you, my pile number 2. So no matter what it is that's coming, you're still not going to see it, right? You're still not going to be able to refine your attention and grab the right opportunity because you're going to be so busy grabbing at other opportunities. Focus, 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 right? So here's another little key. There's a lot of distraction here, right? This is about ideas that might sound great in the moment, but not necessarily are they, let's call it capitalizable, which sounds like a strange word, but it's the best one I got. They're not going to be capitalized upon because you don't have Come on. Really? Okay. 3 aces. Listen up, my pile number 2s. You have 3 aces. 3 aces and 3 knights. 3 aces and 3 knights. I think that's a winning poker hand, right? I don't know, ask my BFF. She would know. So here's the thing. You already have all the things that you require. What are you looking at, right? What are you looking at? And how are you prepared to witness this new? Because here's the deal. If you have these 3 aces come in and you're busy looking down, you're not going to see them. If you're in this moment, right, really focusing on what it is that you want, you're going to be able to capitalize on every single thing that's given to you. You're going to be able to not just capitalize on them, not just say, like, remember, aces are things that the universe offers us. Here you go, little friend. Look, you have the fifth knight. You have the 4th knight sitting there on the bottom. Just hanging out. So we're going to pay attention to the motion. This is all about motion. It's all about chance and opportunity. But here's the deal. Let's really pay attention to what's around this, right? Your long-term possibility has to be something that you're devoted to. It has to be something you're prepared to practice and that you're prepared to share, right? It can't be this thing that you just think you do because you do it, right? If you haven't examined this, then you're not in business. If you don't understand your highest and best, again, we're talking in the beginning about your values, your core beliefs, your ethics, the way that you want to move, right? All this night power gives you the power to do anything, literally the power to do anything. You have all the switches are flipped to move forward, right? But if you're still sitting here looking down, if you're allowing any of your previous programming to run you right now, you're not going to get where you want to go. All this power is going to be wasted, right? It's going to be wasted. All of these gifts are going to sit there. How many times do I say you can't put an ace in your pocket? Well, pile number 2, you can't. Oh, come on. Okay, listen up. You have 4 aces and 4 knights. My happy pile number 2s. I feel the need to say, whatever it is, it's time to move past, right? I think the key here is you've done enough cogitating. You've done enough navel gazing. You've done enough circling, in the rut of your own walking. It's time to refine your attention. It's time to start looking up so that you understand where you're going. At some point in the next 10 days, you're going to have a choice to make. And your choice is going to be, I'm all in, or I'm not all in. Guess what? It's okay to say I'm not all in. It's okay. But you might want to pay attention to why you're not all in, right? And here's the deal. Pile number 2, if you are all in, holy cow, it's going to be amazing. Amazing. But if you're not, it's all right too. If you're not all in, don't risk the consequences of choosing the wrong thing right now, of saying yes to something that isn't aligned. Okay? So if you're not all in, stay all out. But boy, if you've done the work and you have chosen wisely in terms of your attention and you're ready for this opportunity, I'm going to say you absolutely have the devotion, the capacity to put into motion what comes next, right? With great care, with all of your heart, with your soul, and with your full presence, right? You get to move into that next thing. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Find out why. But boy, if you are, pile number 2, giddy up. Listen, I love this. I want you to come back and let me know how it goes. So please hit like, hit subscribe, and come back and tell me what these aces and knights are all about for you. Because boy, oh boy, this is hot stuff. Pile number 2. I wish you nothing but the best. Be blessed, and let me know. See you next time. Hey, my pile number 3s, my folks who chose the beautiful star. All right, let's get on to your oracle cards. Looking at the next 10 days. You start with reevaluate your priorities, right? Yeah. Absolutely. Always important. The fact of the matter is that reevaluating your priorities asks you to really witness what your highest and best is, right? In terms of being uncompromising, being really showing up within your values, your morals, your ethics. And if you were at all drawn to pile number 2, I recommend that you listen there as well, because this was a theme there. This is about paying attention to red flags. This is about choosing to get right with your business, whatever that means to you, right? Your priorities, not anyone else's. You have wish upon a star. I like that, right? This is about choosing a conscious commitment, right? Wishing upon a star means really allowing yourself to dream, to be in your vision, and to really allow yourself to explore what is most aligned with you, right? Those places of imagination, those places where we just let our thoughts go, really show us what it is that we're looking for, right? So if we're going to find a thing to commit to, that's kind of the way we do that, right? We don't ask how, we rather ask what's possible, right? What is in my heart? And then see how that lines up with your priorities, right? Aries. Aries is a theme. Aries is a theme, right, in this trifecta of readings. What we're doing is really being called into question. This is about passion and courage. It's about curbing our ego, not necessarily shoving our ego off to the side and saying, you know, I'm not worried about you, but definitely asking it to maybe step off to the side a little bit, curbing those impulses, really finding the I self that is most aligned, that is most apt to create what is highest and best in our worlds. Absolutely, right? This comes in as the combative. I don't necessarily always agree with that. I think that that's a modern adaptation that goes along with the equation of Aries energy with Mars, the god of war. But this is really about the doer, the actor, right? The I in, again, the I self, the I in I am, the I in function. And it's how do I reevaluate? How do I come up with my priorities? How do I choose what I want? It's a process. Right, it's a learned process. Pete's sake. I almost said something different. You get Mars you get Aries. Wow. Let me rephrase all of those things. You get Mars in Scorpio. Mars and Scorpio, revenge, right? Again, I don't necessarily agree. Here's what I'm going to do. We're just going to read this like it comes. Okay. Scorpio Mars. Scorpio Mars is a little prone to being over the top. It's a little bit about taking action on something that's perceived. It's about taking a very intense stance on a thing, being unyielding, almost being unwilling to bend or look at a different point of view. So if this is a thing in your life and you've been moving on those premises, right? Perhaps what you're being asked to do is slow down, take your foot off the gas, slow your roll there, Tootsie, and see what happens if you don't overreact. What happens if you don't insist, right? And then you get the mask, of course. This is about what is being revealed, what is being suppressed, right? Very, very in relation to this Scorpio Mars, reevaluating your priorities, what looks important versus what is important, and also, and perhaps most importantly, who is the you that is that I self, right? Who is that? Who is the one who needs to reevaluate? Who is the one that needs to dream and wish? Who is the one that needs to act? Who is the one who could possibly overreact? And how do you decide, right? How do you decide who's wearing any of those masks, right? Yeah, it's a pretty big thing to make sure that you understand what it is that you're doing, right? Your why versus your how is a pretty important thing. It might be everything, right? And if you can find that why, then you can stop looking at the how. Stop focusing on the how, and really just focus on the why. Nice. You start with a Chariot. You know, I love that. The Chariot really asks you to witness what it is that is driving you. And who is driving you, right? Think about this. The Chariot has two possibilities at any given point in time. You're holding those reins. And so you can balance and go forward, or you can give rein to one and watch yourself kind of veer off course, or give rein to another and find yourself veering off course again. So here we go, right? You understand your why, and then you can balance your how. If you're focused on that how, you're going to veer off course every single time because you're so fixated on trying to figure that out, right? This is about balancing head and heart, love and logic, mind and matter, form and function, all of those things. And so the more that you find your I, which is in the middle, right? The I is the person holding these reins, but also all of the people that you could be and have been, right? It's a beautiful thing, in all honesty. And where we get stuck and where we choose to spiral out or not makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. You got the Five of Wands and the King of Pentacles here. The Five of Wands is really all about, it's about conflict, man. It's about really arguing with not just yourself, but arguing with what's available to you. It's about arguing with the things around you. It's about just blocking yourself at every path, right? There's no real fight here, but there's no agreement. It's just disagreement for the sake of disagreement, which gets you exactly nowhere. And so if you can really take control of not just your resources, but the way that you're going to choose those resources, the way that you accept that you're fully resourced no matter what, right? And in fact, how about so resourced that we can share, right? How about this beautiful reciprocity, right? I don't worry about you, you don't worry about me, because I'm good and I have enough that I can give to you if need be, right? I don't have to hoard or be suspicious or base my actions on anything but my highest and my best, right? I'm not going to give in to this fear because I get it. I get it. I see that I am so blessed. I have so much and I don't need to hold on to any of it. Why? Because I've reevaluated my priorities. That ain't it. That's not my priority at all, right? So then you have the Queen of Cups, the Six of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, more Pentacles over here, folks. Yeah. And the Magician. I like it. Okay. Again, this is about really allowing your highest and best to win out, to really understand that you have all of the power, you have all of the capacity. And if you're doing it from this place of full cups, right? Queen energy is fearless. Queen energy gives everything to every experience, and not in this aggressive, combative way. No, the Queen gives with love. The Queen gives with the full understanding that everything I'm giving is coming back. Everything that I'm giving, I didn't own to begin with, right? We get it. So we're not struggling to hold on to anything because we know that every opportunity will come back to us no matter what, right? And so here the power of this visioning, the power of this idea, the power of this possibility is magnified. Let me create it so that I can give it away. Let me create it so that I can give it away. Let me create more so that I can give more. Let me create abundance so that I can give abundance. Let me create happiness so that I can give happiness. Let me create love so I can give love, right? What you create, and you can create everything, my friend. You can create it for yourself. You can create it for others. But make no mistake, you can create it. You're being asked, in fact, to create it. Knight of Swords. So the very idea that you, that you would have to struggle with it. The very idea that there's anything that could get you, right? Like you have this Knight of Swords, managing something that's coming for him, right? Look at how this is very similar in energy, right? Anything that could come for you, you can best, right? You don't have to stand behind anything. You don't have to stand behind the mask of anything. You can be in your full display, your full, you can bear your whole soul, right? Every single time. It's not going to hurt a thing. In fact, it's going to bring you closer to what you want, right? 5 of Wands, this is about conflict. Well, 5 comes the 6, victory, that extra idea comes in and gives you what it is that you want, right? Which is everything. 10 of Cups is about everything. It's really that manifestation of all things. It's the way that you choose to allow yourself to have everything, right? It may have been a quest. It may have been something that you had to learn. It may have been a thing that you had to actively do in order to seek this particular kind of victory. It might have felt like a walking away. It might have felt like you had something to give up, but you're reminded that you did not. You did not have anything to give up. All 3 of Wands, yeah. All you had to do was accept the fact that you had it all along, right? You had it all along. Three of Wands is about long-term planning. It's about the way that you conjure your future life in the here and now. How do you do that? By balancing your life with what it is that your heart is asking you to do. The way that you move forward is to evaluate your priorities without holding back, to give yourself to what is possible, to really witness that there is never any sense to asking how. Well, the way is the way. The way is the way. Balancing what you have in the moment you're in is the only how that you need, right? What is the next right step? Let me do it now. What is the next right step? Let me do it now. What is the next right step? Let me do it now. That's the only how you have to worry about. Here and now. Here and now. Is this aligned? Yes. Then yes. Is this aligned? Then yes. Yes, thank you. There's no need to spiral your energy out in terms of a perceived anything. There's no need to guard yourself behind anything, right? You don't have to block yourself. In fact, giving up the idea of that blocking is where you choose your own victory, right? Moving away from the idea that you would ever need to do that. Moving away from the idea that there's any such thing as revenge, that there is any such thing as a perceived slight, a reason for revenge, right? This sits in a place that nobody wants to move from, right? We don't want to move from the fact that, oh, well, this happened. No, if a thing happens and it doesn't feel aligned, you move away. You just walk away from it. You say, no, thanks. I'm not willing to fight my energy there. If it's not aligned and for me, then I'm not involved. Then I don't want it. If it's not my future, then I don't want it. And the way you know if it's not your future is if it shows up as a conflict, as a challenge. If it shows up as a conflict or a challenge for you in the next 10 days, evaluate whether you think that that's actually for you or not. On the Five of Wands, you get the Five of Cups. Resist the urge to look backwards. Resist the urge to... Okay, that's beautiful. Five of Cups is all about revenge. It's conflict over the past, right? Conflict over the past, which is revenge. This is masking. So the thing is, revenge has to happen in the past. If you're living in the past, that's the only way that you can be latched in to something that feels or looks or sounds or smells or tastes like revenge. You can't be in the present and concern yourself with revenge. You can only concern yourself with motion in the present. How am I going to move? And if you're looking at revenge, something over here, something that I have to fight or get even for, what does that even mean? That's taking you off course completely and totally. You're not doing your thing if you're worried about what happened over there and remember that thing. No, nope. No. So I feel like that's your message, pile number 3. Fully in the present, right? Fully outside of a need to find anything but where you're going, right? This is where you're going. This is where you're going. This is where you're going. This way, right? You're here. This is where you're going. Not over there, not over there. Here. If something presents that's beautiful in your periphery and that's where you choose to go, beautiful. Be pulled by what you want. Be pulled by something lovely, something desirable, something that adds to your sense of life, something that adds value to your experience, right? Something that makes you more and better, not something that brings you smaller, something that attaches you to something in the past, right? You walk away from those things because they're not part of your future. They're not part of your future. Pile number 3. I don't care how much you have been focused on this revenge, this idea of something in the past. You're being asked in the next 10 days to literally just cut those ties. You've got the sword. You can do it. Get rid of that so that all the new things can come in, right? If you're dragging around baggage and anchors from the past, you can't be here. Yes, please. This is where I'd like to be. Yes. So reevaluate your priorities, right? Reevaluate what has happened to you and how you're hauling it around. I didn't even say carry it, did I? I said hauling it around. It's time to jettison your baggage, right? Walking away from anything that's not bringing you more in the now. You have such capacity, right? You have such potential. What are you doing about that? What are you doing about that, right? Are you your own red flag? If you are, put yourself out, right? Take yourself down, fold yourself up, set that flag on fire and let it go. You are not served by being your own red flag. So please focus on the beauty that is available to you. There's so much, right? There's so much available to you. And you really have the capacity to plant such beautiful seeds and act on them in the now, right? Don't worry yourself about the things that have become your baggage. Now is the time to jettison that baggage and focus on where you are. Keep going, keep going, keep going, my pile number 3s. You've got this. Thanks for being here. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to hit like. Like you to hit subscribe so that you can come back and tell me what this meant to you. And how this shows up for you in the next 10 days, whenever this finds you. So be blessed and take care, and I'll see you next time.